Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this new figure unboxing and review we're going to be looking at the Studio Series number 103. This is Voyager class Rhinox from the Rise of the Beasts movie. So in this video we're going to unbox him in a second, have a look at the entire contents of the packaging. We're going to have a detailed look at him in both of his modes, help you decide how you want to display him, and of course we're going to bring in some other figures from the same toy line to see how he compares and displays with them, as well as some other Rhinox figures that have been released in the Generations toy line as well. Now, before we open him up, let's have a look at the box. So we've got an on-screen, I suppose, still image of him from the movie. We can see he's packed in robot mode. This feels really weighty, to be honest. This really does feel like a nice and big, Voyager. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's Voyager. Yeah, it's got to be Voyager because Leader's closed box, but it feels like the weight of a Leader class figure, to be honest. We can see he's going to take 29 steps to transform, and I need to very quickly thank Robot Recruits, the online store which I purchased this from. That's because they got it out to me nice, quickly and safely. And also to remind anybody who's not subscribed to this channel, if I'd hit that subscribe button for me now please, because it really will help me out. So there he is. Yeah, that is a big and heavy Voyager class figure. He's got his, is it a mace? I can't think exactly, like hammer. It's not a mace, it's a great big hammer. And then we've got the battle scene on the background. Which one is it? Let's have a quick look. Oh, there we go. It's from Peru, one of the things inside the caves, and the instructions. So what I need to do obviously now is set him free from the packaging, and we'll do some first impressions and have a look at him then. Okay, so we've set him free from the packaging, and he definitely does feel big and heavy. And indeed, I suppose what I'm trying to say is it looks like he does justify his Voyager price point. The figure itself, again, with it being a Studio Series, is highly detailed. You can tell there just by looking at it. You've got some mechanical, I suppose, parts on the inside of his forearms, all these little bits of extra detail around about where the bicep flexion is. The head sculpt is spectacular. I've only just noticed them green eyes, in honesty. Will it spin around? It'll look around quite a bit. It will look up and down. It is obviously restricted by all this going on around the outside, but you can pose this more than enough with the range of motion that you've got. The arms themselves, can this move up to give it more weight? There you go. You can bring them right out to the side if you move the shoulder panels up. They will, by the looks of it, go all the way around. Yep, completely all the way around. You've got a swivel underneath the bicep. You've got the flexion, and you've got a wrist swivel as well. There is obviously a waist swivel, which is good. The hips will kick all the way up past the point of vertical, even though there's that skirt there. Going backwards, again, the same. I mean, look at that for a range of motion. Not that he's ever going to need to ever be posed like that, but you've got full range of motion. They will go out to the side as well. There is a knee bend, there's an ankle tilt and rock. And again, just look at the detail on all these parts. Now, the more I'm moving these around, other things, I'm just noticing other things, to be honest. It looks really good. This is my first experience with this figure. I've not seen any videos on this at all, just a couple of photos. There's nice detail there inside the shin, and then on the back, once again, you know, again, as I suppose you sort of expect, it's a Voyager class figure, so there's no real gaps anywhere at all. It looks great. A couple of things that I want to show you that I've noticed that obviously are glaring errors, nothing to do with the figure. The instructions say Revenge of the Fallen, which is I have no idea why they do that, but I just thought that was a bit interesting. On the back as well, he doesn't really look like this. There's loads of browns on that, whereas obviously it's now more of a gunmetal grey. So, but that tends to happen quite a lot anyway. Yeah, the backdrop again is what I always say, that to me they're just a waste of time. I'd much rather have either a great big one that you could all join together, or give him an extra accessory or something like that. Right, the accessory itself is huge, and again, it's highly detailed. There's a few different colors on it. That's silver, grey, gunmetal grey, a darker grey, and it looks like, yeah, that's how you can transform it depending on which mode you're going to have him in. Right, as far as first impressions go, he looks spectacular. Let's have a look at him in his alternate mode, then we'll come back and do a load of comparisons as well. Okay, so he's back in his alternate mode, and apologies, no transformation on this video. That is to keep the main length of the video down, but you've probably noticed that there's a tutorial which I've uploaded anyway. So I do like this alternate mode, but I've got mixed feelings, and I suppose it's the reason for it, as I'm going to show you in a second. From the side, looks great. From the front, looks great, which I suppose, let's be honest, is all that really matters. Perhaps I'm just being overly picky. Back isn't too bad, to be honest. I like the fact, though, I suppose, that there is still some mechanical things visible, but I don't know what it is. And maybe I'm just being overly picky. This huge empty space that is underneath there. That of course was his chest that's folded down. And as I said, perhaps I am being overly picky, because it's like when you've got the car, you know, sometimes you can't see things because it's all covered up. So yeah, perhaps I just am, but that was just an impression I got from when I saw it. Again, the color scheme works really well. This really is reflecting a lovely sort of silvery color as well. But funnily enough, there's loads of articulation on this. You can move the horn slightly forward and back. You can lift the head up and down. You can even open the jaw. There's a small mouth there which you can see, so you can't turn it side to side, by the way. You can twist the legs at, I suppose, the top. You can also turn the feet around. These will also come forward as well. Same with the back. These will kick forward, kick backwards, and the feet as well will do the same. So it's really articulate for, as I say, a great big beast in its alternate mode. And when I say great big, I really do mean great big, because if I bring in Battle Trap, who is of course the other Voyager, or the Terracon Voyager, that is a ridiculous size difference. It is huge. I mean, yeah, it's loads bigger, and you know, it looks really good because of that. And here is just a deluxe vehicle, which you can see it's relatively small anyway, but this is quite a big deluxe vehicle. But it's way bigger. As I said in the first portion of the video, it's big, it's chunky, and you do really get a good sense of a Voyager class price point with this particular figure. So let's attach this. Is there a specific way it should go? Let's have a look. They haven't got a picture of it on there, to be honest, in that mode, so I presume, as you say, it's going to go there. Unlike a lot of the other figures and the mainline ones, there's no other 5mm ports that I can see, apart from obviously on his feet, which don't really count because you can't really use them when he's in this mode. I don't even think you can store it underneath. If I'm wrong, please do let me know. Also, yeah, there's a bit of articulation on the tail as well, but to be honest, it doesn't need it. I don't think it needs that hammer up there at all. Funnily enough, just for a bit of a size comparison, bit of fun, there's a G1 Bumblebee. I've got a couple of G1 figures actually here. There's a little Power Glide, and then I suppose for even more fun, if it's like, there you go, there's a little Doctor Optimus Prime. So he's huge compared to that. Funnily enough, I've got Nightbird here as well, and look at the size difference with her. Right, I'm going to stick him on the backdrop anyway, even though what I said in the first part, he doesn't even fit on it. That's another reason why I'm not overly fond of them. But to be honest, there's not much more to say about him in this mode. I perhaps was being too overly picky at the beginning portion of this. Yeah, it's a good looking alternate mode, to be fair, especially from that angle as well. So I'm going to leave it right there, and we're going to come back for the final time with him in his robot mode. So here he is then, back in his robot mode for the final time, and we're going to first and foremost, just very quickly again, just see how he appears on the backdrop. Then I can obviously get rid of it. So that's sort of how it's looking. Maybe if I just lift this up just a fraction more, you'll see that a little bit better. To be honest, it's a very dark backdrop and there's not much to be seen on it anyway, but I am going to move this out of the way for now. I'm now going to attach the giant hammer into his hand as well. I'm just looking, yeah, you could put it that way, which wouldn't really do anything if you wanted to. And as I said, same in the other mode, there isn't really any other 5mm ports. I mean, I suppose again, if you wanted to, you could put it on his back whilst he's there, but there's no real point in doing that. You might as well just pop it in his fist like so, to be honest. So this will slot down until you get to the thicker part right there, and you can see that'll fit no problem in his hand. Great big giant yeah, mallet, mace, hammer, whatever it exactly is. And once again, as I say, it looks great. Look at the way all the light's reflecting on the different colors. Or it looks like there's loads of inner workings going on this figure, and that, I think, for me is what really does make it look very, very good. Again, to give you a quick idea of some scale, I've still got Battle Trap in his alternate mode, and he looks tiny. Typically now I need to adjust that back down. He really does look small. You wouldn't think that these are the same sort of, you know, price point figures. He's obviously much bigger there than the Nightbird that we already had. I'm also going to bring in, let's bring in a few others. So we've got, this is another Voyager class figure, obviously, and he about the same size, but I'm sure you'll agree he just looks bigger. There's more to him. There's definitely, as I say, more to him than what Prime's got. And this is, of course, Scourge. let's have a quick look at him. He's going to be that little bit taller, but again, great colour scheme. Tiny with Noah there. And indeed, I've got quite a few of the Studio Series just hanging around here, to be fair. But yeah, this is probably one of my favourites, to be fair. I'm going to do a separate video with all the Maximals in it, if you're wondering why I've not brought out the rest of them. But I will do a separate one. Let's just move all these out of the way. So there he is with some Studio Series figures. Let's see how he looks with some standard main release and again other figures, just to give you an idea of his scale. So obviously the core class is pretty much the same, but there's a core class Optimus, there's a G1 Optimus, this is a G1 Bumblebee, we've got a deluxe standard mainline figure, I've got a Voyager standard mainline figure, and again, this I suppose where you'll see, but these are big leader class figures, in all honesty. So maybe this one's a little bit unfair, but it is bigger, which you'd expect because it's a leader class. And yeah, these figures are just massive. So there he is. That gives you an idea compared to mainline figures. And just very quickly, just for those people who don't collect these scale figures and are interested, New Age, Dr. Wu. I've got two Dr. Wu. Actually, I've got some really tiny ones as well. So there's another tiny Dr. Wu. There's an Iron Factory. And then very quickly as well, a Magic Square. So he looks giant compared to all of them. But I think that's where I'm going to finish this video. This is a very impressive figure. Transformations process is pretty good as well. It's not too complicated, it flows really well, and yeah, he looks very good. So let me know what you think of him in the comments, guys. This is the Studio Series from Rise of the Beasts Voyager class Rhinox figure. Hope you enjoyed looking at him. Take care.